Alright, so I'm back with you, Trinidad and Tobago, and as the song says, share the life. Share the life, share the life, share the life. I'm back with you. And today, again, we're looking at what's happening with citizens of Australia, and we're talking about that. We're also talking about the airborne, the airborne of the virus. The virus being airborne, and now they're requiring us to be a little more diligent in our response to COVID-19. All right, and very interesting because a lot of people who would have taken things for granted and and playing games are now having to come to the realization that this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I hear people who want to talk about 5G, 4G, cell tower, people talking about the conspiracy with Donald Trump, China, getting money, Donald Trump and they're putting money aside, and all these different things. The fact of the matter is that the virus is here and it's killing people. People want to know why the virus here, how the virus reached here, why the virus was invented in the first place, and all these different things. All those things, all those questions are not going to save anybody's life because it's already here. It's here and we have to deal with it. How do we deal with it? By becoming aware of our surroundings. I remember a young man sent a voice note saying that Zessa party don't cause no COVID-19. Right? So stop blaming Zessa party. So the Zessas not blaming themselves. The people on the promenade not blaming themselves. Everybody is just throwing the buck or throwing the blame on somebody else. When will we, and then we have people coming and sitting down and telling you, don't blame yourself. Blame the leaders. Blame the people in authority. They are the ones to blame for COVID-19 spike. They are the ones to blame for COVID-19, not you. Not you not wearing your mask, not you not washing your hands, not you. You are not the reason why COVID-19 is the way it is. Blame it on the authorities. Blame it on everybody else. Don't blame it. Don't take any responsibility for what's happening. And you see, that attitude is why a lot of people are the way they are today, or have their life is the way it is, because they don't want to take responsibility for anything in their life. They look to blame everybody else other than themselves for situations that you could easily get out of. So, all right, we blame it on everything else. We accuse everybody else of the situation that you find yourself in. How do you get out of it then? So the person who gets you in the situation have to get you out. That's what you're trying to say. So we blame, as I said, we're blaming it on the government and we're blaming it on everybody else. So you don't think that they should, and it's sad. It's really, really sad. And but only in Trinidad and Tobago, because other parts of the world, people are not thinking it so easy. But again, we tend to play games. We really tend to play games with serious things. Really tend to play games where serious things are concerned. So I'm going to continue to take your calls, 342-0081, 771-1791-466-5391. The virus is airborne. What do you understand that to mean? Okay, so the virus is now at a place where if you, in the environment where somebody who coughs, sneeze, if you are in that environment, then you are, and you're playing that you don't want to wash your hand or you don't want to wear your face mask, and the person coughs, sneeze in your area, then you are open to being infected. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Pastor Google.
Good afternoon.
Let me tell you something. My son is in Vietnam right now. You understand? He's teaching English in Vietnam. He went there from Los Angeles. And let me tell you something. He speaks to me every day. He said right now Vietnam hardly have any casualties. The reason for that, they have big trucks and so on going on spraying the whole location. You understand? The whole of Vietnam, they have trucks spraying the place and so on. And nobody don't walk in Vietnam without a mask. And that's going on for the longest while. And they listen to the government. They listen to everything the government says, not like Trinidad. Trinidad are not listening to anything. You understand? They hardly have casualties in Vietnam, do you know that?
But then people saying don't blame yourself, blame the government.
They never open their borders, so they only open their borders for big deliveries and so on. They never open their borders since last year. They never open it.
All right.
Every day.
All right. Thank you very much. Don't blame yourself. Blame the authorities. What are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts about that? Don't blame yourself. Blame the authorities. Then we have people saying also that they're not taking advice from the authorities. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Hi, good afternoon.
Pastor Google, since COVID came out in 2020, I said this virus was airborne. And my friends used to laugh at me and I tell them I'm not going nowhere with my head open. I used to go tie my head everywhere, wear my long sleeves. I said, because this has to be airborne. So it's no surprise to me that they now say this is airborne, because logically it could not have been only physical and that kind of contact. Logically you could have said yourself that this was airborne. And I told myself that from the beginning, and I always operated at that level. So it's no surprise to me, and I hope that the people will take it seriously now.
But what about the people who, hello?
Mm-hmm.
What about the people who saying don't blame yourself, but blame the authorities?
We have nobody to blame because the authorities was going by what they were told. But I just had a different view. Right?
Well, I'm talking about with the spike and the cases.
Well, the spike is human. Humans still, no matter if it's airborne, it still need a form of transportation to get to where it's going. So if you do stupidness and you, I mean, not everybody who do it, I shouldn't say that. Not everybody who do it means that they didn't follow the protocols, because somebody can follow the protocol and they could be a victim of that person not following the protocol. But if you didn't follow the protocol and you get it, well, I'm sorry. But if you is the person that's trying to flaunt all over the place and duck here from this one and duck from that and not wearing your mask or want to go and congregate and things, then you have nobody to blame. You have to blame yourself. You can't blame the authorities. So we have to take the collective blame as a country for where this thing has brought us, where this COVID-19 is at this point in time. We have to take collective responsibility for that, because I always say we have to be our brother's keeper. And sometimes you see people doing something and you're afraid to tell them, or you just let it pass. And that person might be the person who might come back and give you the virus, whether it be a children, a neighbor, somebody, you're associated with your co-worker. They may be mask, but I'm afraid to tell them, and this kind of thing. Sometimes it come back to bite you. So we have to take a collective responsibility. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you today, sir?
I am quiet, sir.
All right, that's good. We are alive and we're in the land of the living and we're in Trinidad and Tobago. So we must say thank God for that. But I heard the lady just now. Ma'am, from the time this thing started, it was airborne. I don't know who figured out that it wasn't airborne. It's just that the government decided to come out and be. And if you listen to the news last night, it apparently, we thought that it would have stayed in the air for at least 5 minutes. After listening to the news last night, it can stay in the air for hours. Right? So after looking at Wuhan, because that is where I practice my thing from, and after looking at Wuhan and what transpired in Wuhan, we are now going through the same thing that Wuhan went through. So, and we could only move along as how the virus spreads, ma'am. And let me explain to you. Got into a maxi, want to take a maxi Pastor Google to go into Port of Spain. And on the priority bus route, every single 25-seater, and I'm talking about since last year, November, every single 25-seater is running with cold breeze. And they are supposed to have half the passengers. Nobody is sanitizing the maxi when you get in. Right? So I sit down in a maxi, I sneeze, I come out in crepe. A man jumping in San Juan. What do you think is going to happen to him and the rest of passengers inhaling the same air for the next 15 minutes all the way to Port of Spain? You understand my point, sir?
Yep.
Why we not being responsible to tell the maxi man, open the window. We want luxury. That is why half of us now are home and don't even know how we get it. Because we keep blaming the minister and the government. It is an individual responsibility since last year. That put on your mask, sanitize. I just move with a bottle of sanitizer just in case I get in a taxi. I have a pair of gloves. I move in with. I hold on the door. And when I come out, I wipe my hand. We have to do the right thing, Pastor Google, and that is the problem. We say Prime Minister say 50,000 people would. Well, if that was the case, Tobago would have been annihilated by now. Pastor Google, enjoy your day.
The live. Everybody just share the live. You listening? Listen up.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Pastor G and the listeners. Yeah, it's a philosophy, you know, Pastor G. It's a height, it's a vibe. There are some philosophies that state that we create the environment that we live in. You know, we are the creators of our environment by how we think and our aspirations and stuff like that. You see, let me stop saying didn't, but if everybody get on board, go think about it. It reach across here. Let me say the person who bring it across, they identify him, they isolate the person. Let me say the people who are taking care of them, let me say they follow protocol. When they are around people, they wear their mask, they sanitize, you understand, even though they was around the person. Even though they get it now, and it's from since in the early, me and other people was reiterating this. If they get it now and they follow the protocols, once they're outdoor and they're talking to people to put on their mask, it was a matter of retaining the droplets inside the human body. You speak English, you tell the human that the droplets are causing it to spread. If everybody was to follow that, and without the police cracking, whipping their tail like in places in India and them other Middle Eastern places and things, it would have be low. Because even though somebody pick it up, once they contain it within themselves and reach home and sanitize and thing, and every time they come out they contain it, the spread would reduce. And it's a simple logic, it's a simple common sense. And we need to get on board as to how simple this thing is to deal with as a collective consciousness. Even though we have arguments and things, we have to continue to follow the protocols because they're coming out from a human being. Right, Pastor Google, have a nice day.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
Pastor Google.
Hi.
You know, some people, they have a problem when people give their opinion. I don't understand why, but I could say what I do and what I follow. And I could only talk about me and what I do. So I don't know why people that, talk about what somebody else or try to oppose, or I don't understand. But anyway, the other point I wanted to make is that we are all human, and even the Dr. Fauci, all these people, these scientists, they are human too. So we are all entitled to make mistakes. We could get it wrong sometimes. No matter how good you are in your field, you can get it wrong. But what I want people to do is start thinking for yourself. Start thinking. Start thinking what makes sense. Because another thing I do is, you see the gas station, I don't ever touch a pump with my bare hands. And that has been me for all the time. Because I don't know who last touched that pump. So I remember one time I went to the gas station, really recent time. And sometimes I have a glove, sometimes I use tissue. And I pull my tissue from on the door, handle the car, the door, and I take the lever up and take off the thing. And the lady on the other side, she was watching me. And then she goes to touch the pump too, and then she realized, she must be watching me and say, well, that makes sense. So she went in her car, she take a rag. She did not, maybe she must have said, she take a rag, and she came and she touched it with the rag. So sometimes people, look, if you're doing the right thing or you're doing something that makes sense, people will follow. So that is what I'm saying. You have to do what you, in your common sense, because all of us might have degree, but we have a level of common sense. And then you have to think and use your common sense to put into action what you think, and that is the right thing to do. So that is all I am saying. I am not saying it was never airborne. Yes, it was airborne, but it was telling you it could only reach this distance and that distance and whatever. And I just feel that they don't have a distance for it. That was my way of thinking. If it could go this far, maybe it could go further. And I always think of it could stick on surfaces. So I just start to think and do a little reading and a little analyzing and trying to do what I think is right in my neck of the woods. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much also for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, Pastor Google.
Hi.
Pastor Google, my dear.
Hi.
Because you went through, you are a survivor, COVID-19 survivor. And I know you will tell your people, when you're going to Maxi, tell the Maxi drivers, take off the air conditioned unit.
I don't even, listen, wait, just stop. Before you going so far, I'm not even going to Maxi with air conditioned unit on. That is one. Two, over the weekend, I saw a bishop crying, on social media. A local bishop, somebody from Trinidad and Tobago, crying on social media. You know why? Because one of his pastors got COVID-19 and died.
Of course.
Now, the bishop who was crying over social media, he had it.
Ooh.
And
okay.
So it's a whole cycle. I don't want to get too much into it. But you see, the thing about it is, there are people who are missing the point. People are asking, or people are coming up with all the different notions and theories. I don't have a problem with after the pandemic. We could question how it come, where it come, how it start, when it start, who that. You see, right now
we're in survival mode.
And I think the only time people will realize that, Miss Carol, is when it reach home. There are too many people, I'm telling you the honest truth, There are too many people who are too selfish, they are too ignorant, they are too self-opinionated, and they are arrogant, and they're trying to be smart with foolishness and not really telling people here what. You see, after all of this, then we could deal with all the questions you want to ask. You see, right now, let us try and see how best we could save each other now.
You know how we could survive this? We are in Trinidad and Tobago. And a Dr. Rowley will tell you, the doctors will tell you, all I see them doctors do is break down and cry, on the TV, with COVID, We are in survival mode.
You know that the whole of this place, Augustus Long Hospital, is filled.
Jesus, yes.
The whole of Augustus Long Hospital is filled of COVID patients.
Yes.
I got a message on my phone just 2 minutes ago with one of my mentors and somebody who I consider to be a spiritual covering has it. He got it. His whole family have it. He right now is in a critical state. And we still want to sit, and I can tell you this, Miss Carol.
Yes.
He is, I would consider him to be much more healthier than me.
Jesus and ages.
You hear what I just said to you?
To me, I know he's your mentor, but you see, you have to have been covered. You're covered under the blood. He too. Maybe you go through and come through. But God you survive for a reason, I hope you find the reason why God kept you alive. Because you even said the doctors and all have given up on you. From the time they took one look at you, they gave up on you. You could testify to the world. So we are in survival mode. And that is what Dr. Rowley is telling the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. We are in survival mode. Don't come and talk to me about no rights, because it could end up being dead right. Don't talk to me about them things. Let us survive. Do what is right. You're going to a taxi, no air condition. You're in a maxi, no air condition. The virus thrives in those situations. They love the coolness. So when you go in there and you have other people, whether it's half 50% or not, that is what's going to happen. We want to live. If you can find Carl and Carol Jacob, they have a tune, we just want to live. We are in survival mode, people. Listen to Dr. Rowley. All that man do is break down and cry. Thank God he covered under the blood. They wish him all kind of thing. But he have love for this nation. And I see what about the brother. We in survival mode. I want at the end of this time, and people take your vaccine, that we all here, we could hug and we could smile and we could dance and say, yes, we are wearing the T-shirt. We have survived COVID-19 into 2021, 2022. That is what we are now, and that is what it's about. Take your vaccine and so on. Don't listen to them stupid people who just come out to cause mayhem. Bye-bye.
All right, so before I take before I take this caller?
Yes, sir.
Just hold 1 minute, right? I just want to just read something. So I'm not going to call any names, but this is the message, and this is how I got the message. All right, I want you to listen,
Yep.
A prayer request going out for Pastor, and I'm going to call his name, and his family. All, listen, I know, all affected by COVID-19.
My God.
Urgent prayer for Pastor. All right? He was taken to the hospital, all right, because his oxygen level dropped.
Yep.
You listening? You listening? You know what I want to do? I'm going to play a voice note. And I wasn't going to play this voice note, but I think I should play this voice note. I was going to edit it, but I didn't get a chance to. But I think as Miss Carol said, and most of you callers always say to me, I survived this thing for a reason. And I'll tell you something, I'm going to play this voice note after you finish. And I hope who have ears to hear will hear. I think we need to sometimes take, Dr. Rowley was saying, why we have to take drastic measures to get people to do the right thing. Sometimes, Dr. Rowley, sometimes it's the only way people learn.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Listen, I want people to understand, and I wrote that. Whether you like the government or you don't like the government, there's a part in Scripture that says that you have to obey the law, because no authority is given except it from God. And if this person is the man there that is being allowed to be there at this present time, that means he has been ordained by God.
How much of them believe in God, and how much of them understand what it is you say in there? There are people who say that they believe in God and they love God, but really and truly that aspect of that aspect of...
But far from their heart.
Yeah.
I understand that. But apart from that, the thing is that is the person right now is trying to help you. And whether you like the government or not, if it is a person for other sectors of this community, of this country, who was trying every single thing in their power to undermine every advice and suggestion given by this present government, we would not have found ourselves in this present condition. The reason we are here is because of the reason of the biggest set of sin that we started in the beginning, which is disobedience. That is the reason we are in this problem. It is the most simplest of sin and the most terrible of sin, disobedience. Because what it is was written, it is better to obey than to sacrifice. The sacrifices might be too late after if it is you disobey. And people have to realize that despite whether you like the government or not, it has nothing to do with that. It's your personal responsibility to keep your own stupid life alive. And that of your family. Now, if it is, it's the same thing like people driving a car and speeding or no. If you're speeding and you will kill yourself, okay, that's just you. But 9 out of 10 times you crash into somebody else and you kill somebody else. And it is the same thing with COVID. If you alone was to die from your disobedience and your foolish ways, okay. But your stupid ways is now causing all of us to have to suffer, to be out of a job. And I want people to understand something. 9 out of 10 of the people who doing jobs that are closed presently is who people affected, Pastor Google. Let me be real. It's the Afro-Trinidadian man who is affected. But you know what is the worst thing? It's the daggone Afro-Trinidadian man that's doing all the disobedience by getting poked and taken chain up. And I saw a video of somewhere up in Laventille, all of them linemen without masks, and someone of their family member call out and say, the police coming, a female. But the sister, the aunt, or the mother. That is what you're encouraging. And all of them run fast and hide. And when the police, they come back out, so, you figure you get through with something. What does that make you? You think you are better for it? You think you have become somebody special because you didn't get arrested for being stupid? Seriously? And you're so foolish, you post it like if it was something good you have accomplished. This is the mentality that the government is trying to fight. And how do I have to agree with the Commissioner of Police. There is no way to police stupidity. How
all right. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Google. How you doing? Well, I know how you're doing. I need not ask. But what you're saying about Augusta Slum is very, very, very true. I have a nurse there who is a senior person.
Yes.
She's my niece.
Yes.
And her mother called me, and she said, because she's a little favorite niece, and she said, Auntie, if you had heard your baby this morning when she got home, oh God, Mommy, I'm tired. Oh God, I worked for hours and crying. She said, we have to wear all these clothes, the boots, and this. Oh God, Mommy, I'm tired. You hear what I'm telling you?
Yes.
In Augusta Slum Hospital.
Thank you.
The girl worked so many hours and then they call her back because she had to go to work again.
Thank you.
You understand? So what you said is very, very true.
Thank you.
Okay, darling. Okay.
Make the old place better. So we know what I'm on and leader. Make the bike come out and bear pressure. Everybody wanna be a sasa. And who know artists, them who are press. When the big chain and white vest. Them put mama in stress. When many act match out and leave one night. When quality land, give us no bad. Talk to them.
Talk to them.
one thing, no other one. No ready like ready for the Shelley's one. He said, watch your friend now. Because me fed up by them friend killer. Why can't we just live like brother? Let's love one another. Make the old days better. So we know one of our young leader. Make them buy come out of peer pressure. Why everybody wanna be a sassa? You know access, them want press. Only big chain and white vest. Them put mama in stress. When maniac march out and leave one life. Prince Wally Gelano, Blumpe was Movado. Telling maniac, beyond and KG. Listen what me tell you. We need more love in the ghetto. Sing some positive tune and send them get to you. Living in a gunman town. We don't need no gunman sound. No. Living in a gunman town. We don't need no gunman sound. You know, mommy and daddy always used to say, so what's your friends so you're linking with? But they will lead you to your casket. And when some talk to them by them, tell them this positive music. Tell them gunman slow them roll. Tell them take it easy. The rise of the murder toll. Fed up my printing jersey. I love it, make the old place better. So we know what a man young neither. Make them buy come out of peer pressure. But everybody wanna be a tassa. And you know access, them want press. Only big chain and white face. Them put mama in stress. When maniac march out and leave one lifeless. Gelano, Lumpe was Movado. Telling maniac, beyond and KG. Listen what me tell you. We need more love in the ghetto. Sing some positive tune and send them get to you. Living in a gunman town. In a gunman town. We don't need no gunman sound. No. Living in a gunman town. We don't need no gunman sound. No. So let we sing about love. And let we sing about peace. Too much blood are running on the streets. Yeah. Let me sing about love. Let me sing about peace. Too much blood are running on the street. Forget about the gun, well down like a punching. With the big lock of a handle. Let them buy them, live up them dreams. Forget about AR-15. Bam, bam, brother. My journey, God alone, I walk with me.
This is Wayne Delamore, Head Consultant and Director of Natural Health Solution. With over 15 years of experience in clinical nutrition and microscopy, we specialize in early detection and prevention. We incorporate evidence-based nutrition and science-driven analysis. Tune in to our educational program every Wednesday at 9:05 to 9:55 a.m. right here on the street 91.9 FM. For appointments, call 222-2189 or 304-5816. At Natural Health Solutions, we offer a natural solution to healthy living.
Stay healthy. More to love. Yes, it's true. Pennywise, just for you.
Pennywise gives you more to love.
The new gold standard in winning is here. Introducing the Scratch $10 million Gold Rush game from NLCB. Strike gold in seconds with 24 chances to win. Up to an incredible $500,000 instantly. Over $10 million in total cash prizes to be won for just $50. So what are you waiting for? Join in the Scratch $10 million Gold Rush today. Players must be 18 years and older. Please play responsibly.
Thanks, Mom. It smells delicious. And it tastes even better.
As a mother, I love to see and hear the joy that comes from my cooking and baking. And thanks to Blue Band, I can spread that joy everywhere, even to my mother-in-law. Sherry, darling, this is really tasty. Spread joy everywhere with Blue Band.
Provision, jump out of cancer and constipation with our coffee enema, ozonated olive oil, and suppositories. Contact Dr. Love for other life-saving products at PTSD Transit Mall, Quezes San Juan, Twin City Mall, San Fernando, and Pinal. Call us on 366-4058 or 478-9222. Contact us on WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and our website, www.drloversea.com.
Hey guys, it's Aisha Wells here. Listen up. If you're considering selling or renting your house in Trinidad and Tobago, then call Keelan George with O'Neill's Real Estate Group. He's a good friend of mine and he's been in the business for over 6 years. First, selling real estate in Atlanta, Georgia, and now right here in Trinidad and Tobago. He has a strategic online marketing presence that actually attracts thousands of home buyers and renters. Plus, with his home selling advice and techniques, he's getting homes sold really fast. Keelan will actually guarantee you sell your home or, get this, you can cancel the listing agreement and pay nothing at any time. That's right, you heard me, nothing at any time. Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, people. Check out www.o'neillrealestateTT.com. O'Neill is spelled O-N-E-I-L, or just call Keelan direct at 363-4030. That's 363-4030.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's Radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center of number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko in San Luis Grande is pleased to present Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson and guests on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Sundays, Ministry of Worship Children's Hour and the Word. Tuesdays, see Jesus in every book of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. Wednesdays, we deal with current affairs from a biblical perspective. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit with us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org. Facebook, email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call us at 753-1113 or 236-7271. Your free will gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222 at the First Citizens Bank.
Now there's a new way to pay your electricity bill.
Quick pay your bills today. Quick pay, it's a whole new way. Online, pay your bill one time. Yes, there is a whole new way to quick pay for your electricity. Yes, they made it easy. Just enter your account number. 4 clicks and it's over.
Introducing Quick Pay, a new service from the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission that lets you pay your bill online with your credit or Visa debit chip card. Just enter the account number and contact information. Click Pay and you're done.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Share the light. Share the light. Share the light. Share the light. Everybody just share the light. Tobago share the light. Like and share. Like, comment, share. Like, comment, share. Only share the light, man. I want to strike a nerve. I had the wrong thing on hand. The big boss of the East, the show me the vesting plan. They have enough private zest somewhere in the nation. If all they really want me, so what's up the location? I want you just share the live. Share the live. Look on Facebook, share the live. Go on IG, share the live.
All right, so I'm back at you, Trinidad and Tobago. And as the song says, share the live, share the live, share the live. I wanted to just play for you. You see, sometimes, you know, you listen and you hear how people how some people think, and you just, sometimes you just say, you know what, let's leave that alone. I really don't want no part in that. But sometimes, for the greater good of the nation, you do something. If you were just to do things just for you, you know, you just don't do it at all. But for the greater good of the nation, I do what I do. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Google.
Good afternoon, Mr. Paul Spain.
Well, Google, you know, when I listen to all these opposition Sikh send them on the radio, and you know I have a good friend from Don Penal, they really have hypocrisy, and it's spreading it around, and some people giving them room and allowing them with the foolishness. Now, Google, you know why I don't want to hear nothing from the opposition leader whatsoever. Could you remember that they have 2 new aircraft came in, the Max 8, built by Boeing, and the both of them had a serious problem that they had to ground them? Could you remember that, Google? The Max 8 aircraft, Google.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Porter Spain. I have a lot of callers holding on.
Yes, I want to see I can be short. I just want to show people how foolish and obstinate that your opposition leader is. You know what she said? Because the 2 planes are sisters, because the PLM had least 2. And the flight it, Google all them not to forget them things. These are things that you have to say, that these people are them wicked, and it's hypocrisy with people like Penal and King Ryan. And you imagine that? The Caribbean Island, least 2 of them. The M8, just remember that the Max 8 aircraft, he says the PNM blighted. And last of all, I want to end with it. They have no problem whatsoever with the opposition leader calling an incompetent fool. But we have a fellow like Leave it there, calling tortoiseness and saying that it was a disrespect to Mr. Hines. You know why short on was there? But there's a reason why. Mr. Leave it there. All they get all the facts straight before they come, you know. You didn't have no problem when she called Hines a fool. But you're finding that disrespect. No, it was not disrespect. I fear for all your boys. Penal, you and King Lion are waiting on all you. I had to match up all you with all your boys. All you coming here to match up this country. Thank you very much.
All right. So I wanted to play something for you guys. All right. I see caller left. Okay, the caller is back. All right. So after this caller, I want to play something for you guys to hear. Hello. Good afternoon. I am blessed, sir.
I want people to understand they're trying to blame and shift the competition that is the Venezuelan immigrants that is causing this fight. When we were the responsible pastor for Easter lining all over the place, family gatherings outside the bar, all of we see that.
Okay, so they're blaming the who?
The Venezuelans for causing this spike and causing this surge.
So let me ask you this. Just a point of question. If they're blaming the Venezuelans, okay? My question to you is, a caller always says it when he calls in. He's asked a simple question, but yet effective. Here the question is asked. If you rented an apartment to 3 Venezuelans, right? And you wake up in the morning and see 10 or 20, you're not going to, there's not a red flag for you? So how come we blaming the poor borders, which might be true, but what is our responsibility as a nation or as a people? You're renting your place, you know, to 3 Venezuelans, and you get up in the morning and you see 10. You're not going to say, but, hey, what's going on here? Something ain't right. And question that?
Yeah, Pastor, but what I told you is your South guru coming to before he died, boy. Great sprang along money is the culture. Everybody is to blame except traders. We was climbing outside bars. We was having house line parties, get-togethers all over the place. But that is not my point. So you're trying to blame, but it's telling you inside the facility, this step down, there's only one Venezuelan there. And it's only Trinidad. So if you're hardly seeing Venezuelans being warded, or the UNC still trying to use the immigrant population right now on the border of Italy, the small island of Italy from Algeria, Africa, there's a serious migration capital flying from Algeria into Italy in the pandemic right now by the hundreds and the thousands. The point I'm trying to make the people, no matter what measures you put on your borders, the humans will find a way around it and over it. What if the work that Mr. Manning had done, right, you'd have a better chance to mitigate the capital flight that's going on in Venezuela. But I don't want people to try to feel that they're going to stop every Venezuelan 7 miles away from coming here. Right now, at this present time, Italy is being overwhelmed by immigrants from Algeria, Africa. So I am saying, you see this dotishness and this Talaha from Penal trying to make people feel it's to blame. I included myself. We was lining, we was all them bar flies outside the bar drinking, having a time, partying, house gatherings. It's we caused the thing to search by congregation. So Pastor, I will leave it there as your partner said. Let me say what I'm saying. That's Pastor, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. Pastor Google, you know what I heard? That when you take some of Venezuelan with 3, you rent a place for 3, and next morning they get up and they see 10. The other 7 have to pay more money, have to pay, you know. So if you have 10 people in my place, you have to pay more money. I heard that is what they're doing.
But my question is, and it will continue to be, so, all right, okay, but if I rented to 5 and I get up and I see 10.
Well, you have 5 more people to pay rent now. So they take in 10, the others have to pay. So your rent going up.
Okay.
Everything is about the money, you know.
Yeah, it's about the money. And you're very right.
Yeah?
You're very right, Mom. It's about the money. It's not about, well, wait now. These people and them are illegal or illegal. These people and them get tested for COVID or they get tested. No red flags are raising up for you?
It's more money they're collecting. They don't care how they sleep in the corner, whatever. They don't care.
Wow.
But once they get the money, and that's how it is.
That's how
and
it is.
And see who are the people renting them.
Yeah, mommy, leave it there.
and I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Mom. Hello, good afternoon. I want to play this clip before.
Hi, good afternoon, man. Mommy is quite right.
She's very right.
Let me show you one example. They say the Prime Minister went to invite 50,000 people to the big one. There's a lady. What had her, you see? And she been making noise for the Tobagonian economy since last year in the pandemic.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen her since within the last 2 weeks?
No, and remember she had a very condescending and arrogant tone.
But if Tobago was suffering the way she was saying in the pandemic in the first year, then she have a right to be all now making noise because the people opposite her or the people that she supported is telling us that the Prime Minister invite 50,000 people to come to Tobago to boost the Tobago economy. And that is how spread the virus. But I'm not hearing her saying that they benefited or they didn't benefit or we are encouraged that we are the reason for the spread. You're not hearing these people.
Well, you wait
when
there.
They get their money, they get the economic benefit as the UNC saying, so all of a sudden these people become quiet, Pastor. We have to understand what is playing off in our society today, you know. These people wanted this thing to reach where it had reached now. In order to say the Minister of Health doesn't know what he's doing, Prime Minister doesn't know what he's doing.
But they done saying it already.
All right. But now that it reached home, and it seemed to be affecting them a little more, the opposition leader had called for a meeting with the Prime Minister some time ago, not so?
Of course, you know why? As you just said, it reached home. Check and see the cases. Check and see
Now, we have an independent senator sometime telling me how it's the Venezuelans
But we have a lawyer from San Juan Batara was in the PNM and they put she out some time ago. And she was defending these said people.
Of course.
So where is she today? Where are all these people who was defending now? The same people that was defending the Venezuelans are now telling us they are the people to blame for the spread in the virus.
Let me play my recording now.
Enjoy it. People of Trinidad and Tobago understand what the narrative that is being played off here by the UNC. Enjoy your evening, Pastor.
Listen to this recording. I'm going and play it. See, we playing games. We're playing games, and I want to play this recording. I want people to hear. Oh gosh, I have a caller holding on there. Hello, good afternoon.
Pastor Google, it's only me. Good afternoon.
Oh gosh, best I play my recording, yeah?
You know, but they really do that in true. Pastor Google, Sunday on 95.5.
Why you calling our next radio station number here?
I just call a number.
No, we don't endorse that.
I know you want to cut me off, I know it's bad you want to cut me off, but it's all right.
No, I'm just saying to you, sir, that you could say another radio station, you could say our rival.
I want Mr. Porter to understand that is where I'm coming from. Sunday when a gentleman called and said about that disrespect, Mr. Porter called and said nothing. But you want to call and talk now, Mr. Porter Spain?
He can call and talk now.
Sunday? I will leave it here, Pastor Google.
All right, so I can play my clip now. Hey, I'm going to play my clip now. Listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago. This is a recording sent to me by a friend. I asked if I could play it on air. And I want you all to listen to what a family have to hear or go through with hearing about a loved one, all right, in intensive care. What's this? Nah. You're not serious. Wow. Like, I'm not supposed to play this. So it's a voice note of a doctor giving a report, a Trinidad doctor giving a report to a family about their loved one and the effects or what the loved one is going through. Right? So I want to play for you what the loved one was listening to. Listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago. I'll have to play it off my phone. Because I put it up to play and it's not playing there. So listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you an update for today, but so far, what have you been told about his condition?
He's on the ventilator and he's not looking well.
Okay. Did you mention any other details about the lungs and so on?
I think they said it's damaged.
Okay, all right, so that's basically correct. He has a very severe form of COVID infection where both his lungs are very badly infiltrated by the disease process. The virus itself tends to damage your lungs directly, and then the rest of the injury comes from the response that the body mounts against the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Has caused some pretty severe damages to various parts of the lungs, so that it causes some problem right now for us to be able to ventilate him. He's on a mechanical ventilator that's given him pure oxygen at this point, and even with it, the oxygen levels in the blood are very, very low.
Mm-hmm.
But the virus can also weaken some of the tissues that are responsible for keeping the lungs inflated, and this has happened to Anthony recently.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result of the weakening in the tissues, it made him prone to having a rupture inside of the lungs, which is called a pneumothorax, which is when air escapes from the lungs into the cavity that holds the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
He has both sides of the chest. This has happened. So both lungs have had a small rupture to it that is causing air to leak out. So we've addressed it by putting in two tubes into the chest that are responsible for keeping the lungs inflated.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, because of the extent of the injury to the lungs, both from the rupture and from the virus, it seems that progressively he's starting to decline because even though we've had him for a couple of days now on the ventilator on maximum oxygen, and we have started medications to slow down the metabolic rate in the body, the oxygen levels are still not enough to meet the demands of the rest of the body and all of the other organs. We started to see that the kidneys are beginning to fail as a result of the low oxygen, while traditionally the treatment for failing kidneys is dialysis. It will only work if you have enough oxygen in the blood. Dialysis is not even an option for treatment at this point unless we can get him through this period of, like what's called refractory hypoxemia, where the oxygen levels in the blood remain persistently and stubbornly low. Right? So first and foremost, the lungs need to be able to work to push the oxygen into the blood to give that support to the other organs. Otherwise, one by one, they begin to fail. So all in all, this is a very grim outlook for Anthony.
All right. I think I'll stop it there. So while we playing games and we don't want to adhere to what the advice we're getting, you hear what the doctor is saying to a loved one over the phone? Huh? Over the phone, you have to get all that information. I know it's a sad thing. I want to drop this in the mix. To all the arrogant, self-seeking, nasty, uncaring people out there. You know I want to drop in the mix here? If I had died from COVID, my family would not even get a chance to bury me. I want to say that again. You hear all of that they just give out there? You hear all of that the doctor said? That's what the doctor was reading out about your condition when you get COVID-19, full-blown COVID. You know, the sad thing is that my mother or my wife would not have been able to see me for the last time or bury me. Play games, Trinidad and Tobago. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. You know what the doctor is saying to that wife there, or that mother or sister? Not one of the lungs, you know. Two of the lungs are damaged. So don't care how much oxygen we pump into that individual. Because of his lungs damage, I can't help him. And because of the lungs, it's causing something else to go bad. And if I try to deal with that, I can't deal with that until I deal with the lungs. So everything is up to God now, and Pastor Google.
But my question is, my wife or my son or my mother would not have been able to even say goodbye.
Phone for you. And I'll put the phone by the box and let them pronounce which part it is. But dead man can't respond, so the phone will have to bury with you. That's where we reach to now.
Nah.
Yeah,
we something wrong with us, you know.
I'm telling you, because of the narrative. The narrative is that they don't know what they're doing. The Minister of Health is crazy. Dr. Rowley don't know what they're doing. The virus is not here, you know. The sun kills the virus. Punching kills the virus. I have a man that goes to a church. Where I live is opposite a church. And I have a man who goes to that church and telling me the day before yesterday why he's drinking a carib. That yeah, we're going to that virus ain't going to affect me, you know. And he's a man that goes to church. And he have a beer in his hand telling me that virus ain't going to affect. How many more people like that there is in Trinidad and Tobago walking around with no mask on their face? Pastor Google, enjoy your day. We have to wake up. Apparently, everybody calling for a state of emergency. I don't think we have 4 African people. I don't think I could afford a state of emergency, you know, Pastor Google, because I leave in the market that they're giving out to somebody who is a little less fortunate than me. So apparently, if we continue going on this road, all of us, it might not have enough market and enough pineapple from the Ministry of Food to give you, you know, it's 1.4 and we have 50,000 Venezuelans. And we're looking for the government to give you a handout. People, Pastor Google, enjoy it.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Pastor Gogol, you know what comes to my mind? When you cannot hear, you just feel. Because Dr. Rowley has been preaching since last year. This is what he wants to avoid. And some people just don't, they don't understand. Like, they just don't care, as you were saying, they are so selfish. Pastor Google last year, around April, I started getting a high fever. I've never had a fever like that in my life. And the virus, well, I think the first person had died. So it wasn't, it wasn't so much in the air. And the first thing came to my mind was, this is what I had. I isolated myself, right? After the fourth day, I called the hospital. Well, they told me they weren't doing any testing yet, unless you're having breathing problems. But as they go, well, I use my own home medication. But the thing that was bad, Pastor, was the mental strain that I went through, because I'm thinking about my family. As you're saying, I'm thinking, what, anything happened to me, I can't, I'm alone there in the hospital, I'm thinking about their welfare. People just don't understand until you see it gets to their home. You understand? For big people, no wonder this country is in the condition that it is. This is a matter of life and death, and still we just cannot hear, we can't understand, because we figure the government is there to help us. My long time, I always hear my grandparents talking about save for a rainy day. We don't know about that in Trinidad, because we feel that the government is there to mind us. I feel sorry for those who really can't afford, Master, because they are those people. But they are just some lazy people who just decide that they just don't want to do anything for their own self. And now that this is happening, I think the recent deaths, because it's affecting a different nationality, now I think everybody eyes out. Now Mrs. Bissessa wants to speak, and the same day, Dr. Munilal is saying something, so contrary to what she's saying. I don't think they have anything to bring to the country, because I just don't want to hear them anymore. Thank God you are all right, and you keep safe.
Thank you very much. My question is, thank you. My question is, after hearing all what the doctor said there, I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to come back and play it. After hearing all what the doctor said there, my question to you is, do you think that the family get proper closure? The family don't get closure, I don't think only hearing me. The family don't get proper closure. They don't get to tell the loved one goodbye. They don't get to go and visit him. Are we understanding this thing, right? I don't think we understanding this. I remember when I was going through my experience with COVID-19, I don't think people understand that there's a time in that you don't even want to answer your phone, Well, boy, I don't know. And a young man did a blog this weekend here, explaining to people, he's saying that some of us, our mindset is so warped. Hey, Mr. Bigo, hello.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google. How are you?
I am blessed, Mr. Bigo. Have life.
I'm enjoying the program. I am glad that you played that video of what I sent you. So I'm glad that I got to in time to see it now and hear the reaction of people. So they're making noise that we don't want to bring home with peoples, but Australia locking out some, and look the type of people that they are locking out. But we are bringing home any and everybody. It doesn't matter what race, religion that you are in. And I just listened to this video clip that you play. And Pastor Google that this doctor have to be explaining to me how my loved one is going through the pain and agony. Now, Pastor Google, I know about someone getting asthma because my little daughter was an asthma case. So I know what it is to have to pick her up and run to the hospital. So I know what that loved one is feeling. Hearing this doctor telling me lungs collapsing, whatever. What do you think I of myself as a loved one should have been doing? I sitting down here thinking that Pastor Google and it's not mine. The person must be somebody related to me too, you know, and I don't know.
But Mr. Bagel,
you understand? I might be related to that person, but we're not listening.
Mr. Bagel.
Yes, Pastor Google.
When you go with your loved one, your grandchild or whoever, right? When you take them to the hospital, Mr. Bagel, whatever, you could still hug up the loved one right there. You could still hug them up. You could still do whatever. You could still see them. Mr. Bagel, with a COVID-19 case, you cannot see them.
Of course, you cannot. And this is what people know. Pastor Google, when this thing happened to you, and you came back on this radio station, and you had to tell us what took place with you, Pastor Google, I'm telling you, you opened up my eyes. I took this thing very seriously. And I tell me and my children and them was talking about the say it was airborne. And we were saying here what there are some protocols that we are not adhering to, even home here in our house, and we have to change our mindset. Pastor Google, remember I told you last week, it's two days are going to work. Pastor Google, they put it, I am home until the 21st. And until the 21st might come and they might tell us, well, here, well, we are to extend it, even though I'm getting my full pay. But you know where it is, that you cannot go nowhere. You have to be locked down. Everything taken away from you. Peoples, you have to be in it to know it. And when people who in it telling all are not listening, what more else they want we to come out like India, China, Japan, all of these places? Well, I pray to God. I don't pray out loud. I just pray. I'm a person that prays in my mind to myself. And I know God does help me. But who don't hear, go feel. Who don't hear, go feel. The bar talking the vaccine, don't take it here, there, and everywhere. And except people who bar talking it went and take it. So what happened to you? The supporters who following these people. I was listening to other program where the opposition out there is working with the government to help the people. Why we can't have that here? You not here in Barbados, Jamaica, Noel, but it has to be here. But Pastor Google, I still locked on and I'm listening. I so emotional and I so damn vexed with my people. So Pastor Google, I locked on and listening.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Bigo. As you all know, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Colm Imbert, is hosting a press conference at 1:30. Well, at 1:30 has gone to maybe 2 o'clock because I'm seeing where Minister of Finance, they're still waiting for him to go live. So those of you who are interested and wanted to know what's going on with the press conference from the Minister of Finance, from my observation, it hasn't started as yet. I'm seeing an empty chair in front of me. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor. You and city time have a fork down. Them defend all the Venezuelans from Mohammed. Before the Venezuelans reach down lawyer, now they're talking about border for us. The people of Porktown, they take them on. Now they want to talk to Dr. Rowley. We don't want to hear them. We don't want to hear them at all. They just stay with the punching rum and the sun and all and things. Yeah. from here, man.
All right. All right, thank you very much, caller. So in the midst of all this discussion that we're having here, really, the Minister of Finance is now sitting in front of his seat. I'm going to take some calls. Hello, good afternoon. Hello?
Hi, Pastor Google.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Pastor Google, I'm wondering if people who build a beautiful home, a nice background in their garden and things, hate to be in it, to think that they're missing something outside. I remember playing games with my children at night. Well, the father would have pave around the house so they can roller skate or ride their bike, they have a swing. What are you doing at home that you cannot enjoy your family, the one that you built? You decide that your wife and your husband you want, that's the home, and you're going to make it. When people leave Trinidad and go to the war zone, what were they missing? When your loved one is in the hospital and all you're doing is from home to the hospital and home to the hospital and look after your children, and sometimes you have to ask somebody else to do that. What it is missing for a short period in your life, 1 or 2 years, let's say, for the most 2 years. We have so much luxury in Trinidad. We can go where we want, we can disobey, and that's what we do. That's what we do. Just for a short moment in your life, you cannot spare that to save life or have your country go in, or ongoing country, or your business. When some people, in some businesses, when the family there, they could shut down for a whole week. If you want to go for your family, you don't have that luxury. They tell you cannot go to a family funeral. People, listen, let's share it now. Let's share the love now. Let's protect our country now.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon, Pastor Google. Since when you had COVID, I took that thing so seriously, COVID, Pastor Google. Pastor Google, I don't know how many mothers had a proper Mother's Day lunch yesterday. I could not enjoy Mother's Day lunch yesterday, Pastor. It was one of the most painful lunch to eat, to hear people suffering, people dying. Sometimes I feel the pain like if I have it, Pastor Google. Pastor Google, this is the worst. Why people have to be wicked so? Why we can't join as a nation and pray for healing in the land? We don't have COVID to deal with, and then you have people who are negative in thoughts, the pessimists and them. Pastor Google, I didn't have a proper lunch yesterday. I don't know how many mothers had it, but I couldn't eat a proper lunch yesterday. Thanks.
Thank you very much, caller. And while we are talking and trying to put sense in people's head, I want to put up a picture of statements being made. I want to put up that photo of statements being made. So if you go into our Facebook Live now, you'll see a photo of statements being made and watch what somebody is saying, and you'll understand that there are some people who just don't take anything serious. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon, sir.
No, 2 weeks ago, a boat left Tucupita in Venezuela, and it sinks. 8 died. And on papers, what was happening? A Venezuelan here was in communication with 3 of the persons on that period, if you was Australia, and lose contact, if you understand what I'm saying here. Venezuelans don't care about nobody, but this is what I want to say. How much Venezuelans in the hospital have come down with the COVID? Especially, let me say, down on that southern side down there. How much of them down there in hospital with a ventilator? And another thing, don't wait till you're feeling Daesh before you go to the hospital, because apparently, like some people saying, it looks as though it's a little cold, and they want to ride it out. You can't ride this out, and it's not nothing like riding this out, but Pastor Google. As you're being witness to everybody, it affects the lungs. And that is one of the most soft tissues in your body that should not be interfered with. And when something like a virus interfering with that, God alone could help. But Pastor Google, I want to tell this government, keep on track. Just study the tractors. And you know how it's going, Pastor Google. I'll call a state. You see fork-tongue people, when you're saying one thing and then you come and just say something else, is a problem I have in this country, especially with the opposition, because they want to talk to the government now to say what? You're helping me to get out of the situation, while you were part of the problem getting us into the situation by opposing everything that the government do. Dr. Rowley, the Minister of Health, the CMO, and all frontline workers, thank all you very much up to this present day. And we know how hard it is really going through. According to the caller, her niece coming home after a shift, and she had to go again. She might need to get a 4-hour sleep, which her body really needs. And I hope that they will be taken care of by this government in time to come. Thank you very much, Pastor Guru.
Thank you very much, caller. So I just put up what a texter would have sent to us. What is statements being made while our discussion, while we're talking, while we are trying to put sense in people's head. Look at the statements that are being made on social media. Look at it. Take a good look at it and understand that this is what we have to deal with. This is the mindset. If you go onto our Facebook page now, you'll see it. I have it up. 342-0081-771-1791 466-5391. There's the kind of statements. We're trying to get people to understand the seriousness of COVID-19. And those are the statements that are being made. Taking time, to type it up. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Master Gogo. I heard Anita Haynes in the midday news. And I want to tell Anita Haynes, she and her people have no moral authority to talk about what the children going through and the stress that the children going through in their preparation for exam. They don't have no more moral authority to talk about because the stress that the children are experiencing now is because of the condition, the state of the country in, that they have 90%, that they are 90% responsible for all this anxiety going on in the country. She has no moral authority to come and ask the government and ask the Minister of Education what they're doing about the stress of the children. They are causing the stress in the children. The children didn't have this stress before they started their nonsense. So I want to tell her that. Thanks, Pastor Gould.
Thank you very much. Yeah, go on our Facebook page and you'll see. Go up on our YouTube page and you'll see the level of the statements that are being thrown out. That's what we have to deal with. That's what we have to sit here and deal with. And while you think, anyway, I'll save that one. So go onto our YouTube page, you'll see it. Tell me what you think, YouTubers. Tell me what you think, Facebook people. All right? Tell me what are your thoughts. I'm getting ready to leave. The Minister of Finance is making his speech. If you wish, well, we have our commitments. But I want to leave you with this song as I get ready to go. I'll leave you with this song, Trinidad and Tobago. Please be safe. Wash your hands. Sanitize. Wear your mask. And most of all, pray for Trinidad and Tobago. At this time, we need it now more than ever. All right? So again, please be safe. Please, please be safe, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm leaving you with this song.
Promise keep, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, you way make, miracle work, promise keep, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, you're breaking coronavirus. I worship you. I worship you. And we will praise you just like Paul and Silas. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, breaking coronavirus. I worship you. I worship you. And you should lift up a praise, just like Paul and Silas. I worship you. I worship you. I worship you. I worship you. You're way maker, way maker. You are the promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God. That is who you are. You are a way maker, miracle worker. You are the promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God. That is who you are. Hey, you are a way maker, miracle promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God. That is who you are. Oh, you are a way maker. Oh, you are good. You're good. Oh, you are good. You're good. Come on, say you are good. Yes, you are.
So I leave you with that video today, and this video also. Go up on Facebook and see this other video that I'm about to show. I think this video was a video that I think this weekend would have really caught my attention. So as I leave you with this one, this video caught my attention, and it caught my attention so much so that I was really shocked by it. Look at this video, Trinidad and Tobago. Go onto Facebook now and see this video.
A number of Indians have thrown the idols of the gods they worshipped on the streets as the numbers of coronavirus infections and deaths skyrocket in the country. Indians expressed their anger at the idols that they worshipped and sacrificed themselves for, but the idols did not protect them from the coronavirus. They prayed to the idols because they believed that it could save them from the virus, but they finally discovered that they could not do anything, and hence they destroyed it. The number of daily coronavirus deaths in India has been reaching a record number of 3,780, as the total number of infections exceeded 20 million. India's underfunded health system has struggled to cope with the recent wave of COVID, with patients dying in hospital parking lots from lack of oxygen and beds. A large number of Indians have thrown the idols of the gods they worshipped on the streets as the numbers of coronavirus infections and deaths skyrocket in the country. Indians expressed their anger at the idols that they worshipped and sacrificed themselves for, but the idols did not protect them from the coronavirus. They prayed to the idols because they believed that it could save them from the virus, but they finally discovered that they could not do anything, and hence they destroyed it. The number of daily coronavirus deaths in India has been reaching a record number of 3,780, as the total number of infections exceeded 20 million. India's underfunded health system has struggled to cope with the recent wave of COVID, with patients dying in hospital parking lots from lack of oxygen and beds.
Promise keep light in the darkness.